My friend might be into my dad, so, this is about my 18F, dad, 45M, and close friend, 18F, who I'll be calling Katie in this story. I've known Katie since we were in first grade, as we were in the same school, just a different class, so we didn't start getting close until we were around 14 to 15. Both of my parents knew about her, but when we were kids I rarely brought her around until about 16 to 17, when we started talking a lot. Now, most of my friends always have a good relationship with my dad, nothing special, just kinda as close as you can get to a friend's dad, never going past friendly conversations and jokes from time to time. Anyway, recently I've been hanging out with Katie a lot more than I ever did. And I invited her to come to my favorite lake with me and my dad. All was fine until I noticed her acting sort of weird with my dad. You know, when you go swimming and splash your dad in the face and drag him under the water, all that stuff that's normal when it's a dad with their child, but it was her doing all that. I got sort of weirded out, but I tried to brush it off, cause imagining that makes me want to throw up. Later in the day, I noticed they were talking about this one old band my dad listened to when he was our age, and my friend still listens to them. It was quite innocent, but it will come into picture later. After we got back home and dropped Katie off, my dad didn't say a word about her, so I just let it be. I thought that I just have too much on my plate now and the stress is making me read into it too much. But a day later I was on Discord with Katie, cause we were playing some games together, and when I told her I'm feeling tired and was about to log off, she asked me a question that just put all that worry back into me. She asked, would it be weird if I took your dad to a old band concert? I just went quiet for a bit, so she repeated the question, to which I said I do think it's a bit weird for her to be hanging out with my dad like that. We're going to the lake again tomorrow, so I'll watch for any weird behavior, but I just need to hear some second opinions on this. For some additional background, as far as I'm aware Katie is bisexual, as she's prior dated this 40-something-year-old woman who she recently broke up with. Yes, I think it's weird, but she also shows interest in men. As for my dad, he had just recently separated from my mom, so he is technically single. Also, my personal theory on why he might be friendly with Katie is that I recently lost my closest friend to drugs, and she was like a sister to me, and like a second daughter to my dad, so he might just be filling the void like I am, but I'm honestly at a loss here. Relevant comments, OP replied. Well, she said something along the lines of, yeah, I thought you might find it weird, that's why I asked you beforehand. Some of it is hard to translate because we don't speak English together and have a specific friendly dialect, but while I was obviously weirded out, she sort of dragged the conversation out with some jokes here and there, sort of like she was hoping I'd crack and just say it. Okay. Update 1. My dad started seeing someone a few weeks ago. I had my suspicions it was Katie, but just prayed my intuition was way off. Today I found out I was right on track. My now former best friend is dating my dad. I honestly wish it was just sex, but from what I gathered, it's so much more than that, and I don't know how to keep going now. To be completely honest, I just want to end it all. I lost the only parent I trusted along with my closest friend. My mental health was asked to begin with, but this just makes everything so much worse. I don't know if I want to cry, throw up, or just scream until I can't no more. She keeps texting me trying to justify herself, and I had probably the most uncomfortable conversation with my dad earlier. My stomach hurts and I just want to disappear. What do I even do at this point? I can't move to my mom's place. I'm a broke student, so there's no way I can afford an apartment, and Katie was my only friend who lived in my area. I might try to stay with my brother and his girlfriend for a bit, since I can't even face my dad now, but that's temporary. I don't want to invade their space. Relevant comments. I recommend living part-time at your brother's house. It might give you some time to reflect and think about the situation in another space and mind. However hard this is, you will have to make peace with your dad and your friend. I know it sounds horrible and disgusting and absolutely terrifying, but you are still gonna have to live with him/them for a time. If you don't have a part-time job yet, get one. They're a great source of friends and most importantly, money. With the new friends and money you won't have to spend all the time at home and you'll have more freedom to do what you want. So make a list with things you want and or need to do. My suggestion to begin with: 1. Finish school. 2. Get a job. 3. Make friends. 4. Try to move out, maybe with roommates. Op replied. I loved my dad so much, but now I can't even be in the same room as him without feeling sick. I have a job, but I'm currently on leave to focus on my exams. In addition, my witch of a mother now decided it's time to come back into my life and harp on what my dad did to make me live with her. But seriously, it helps to see that even strangers can be so caring and nice. Update 2. So, it's been about 5 months that they've been together and I'm officially losing my mind over it. My dad, 48, has completely changed from who I used to know. I actually feel so bad for him. He and my mom have always had a rough relationship, but the finalization of their divorce totally took a toll on him, and I guess he just needed someone. Unfortunately, the one that swooped in just had to be my friend Katie, 19, and I truly from the bottom of my heart despise her for that. I might just be biased, but I think she's also very at fault here. More so than my dad. It's pretty clear he didn't groom her in any way, as they didn't really have any sort of relationship before this, and I can see how much she's using him, but again, I might just be clouded by my own judgment of her. Anyway, I've tried to live with it and I found that I just cannot do that. Every time he leaves me home alone, my mind just goes to whatever they could be doing, and what that bitch must be thinking. They go to escape games, have dinners, go to galleries, go on trips, all the stuff my dad either doesn't do with me anymore or never did. I am genuinely so jealous of her. I need my dad, especially since I don't talk to my mother whatsoever, and Katie just took that from me. Not to mention some time ago, after all the letters and messages she sent me apologizing, she suddenly sent me a message telling me very nasty things, like that I'm the problem, I a self-centered piece of shit, I never cared about anyone and that, I'll die alone cause I'm so unlikable, yikes. That message made me cry and I gave my dad an ultimatum, either he breaks up with her, or he can forget about ever having any relationship with me anymore, and well, they're still together, so it's been very rough at home ever since then. I just can't stomach the whole situation. I try to spend as much time with friends and focus on my own life and career, but this is always in the back of my head and I get reminded of it every night my dad isn't home. Even besides this, my mental health is absolute dog water. This does not help whatsoever and I don't know how to approach it anymore. My dad doesn't listen and I'm so lost in all of this. Thanks to everyone who reads this, I just needed a place to vent. Relevant comments. The fact that he would do this to his own daughter by seeing her teenage friend is sickening. He knows this is killing you and doesn't give a f. First of all, block on everything. No calls, no texts, no emails, no social media, nothing. Allow her absolutely no access to your life. As to your father, apparently, he's putting his felt needs above all else, including his own child. He who should know how horrible betrayal is, has become a betrayer. So be it. You need to go extra low contact with him as well. Maybe even NC. Now comes the really hard part. You can't stay there any longer. This will continue to deeply hurt your mental health if you stay. Can you stay with close family or friends? Do your close family aunts, uncles, grandparents, cousins know what the he is going on? If not, tell them all. This cannot remain a secret. They all need to know this sick situation is happening and what it's doing to you. Can you / have you confided in close friends? If not, please do so. If you have access to a therapist to help you deal with this, please do avail yourself of this. You need support. I affirm all of your feelings. Strength to you to do what you must. Op replied, thank you so much for this, I'm working on moving in with my girlfriend, I just finally got a job and I'm hoping to save up. Unfortunately, all my remaining family is from my mother's side, and I don't talk with any of them. As for my dad's side, they're literally all dead. I have a therapist I've been going to for quite a while and it helps to talk with her whenever I go, so that's something. I'm just trying to push through school, but it's extremely hard for me since I end up having a panic attack on almost every exam and totally fumble them. But I have at least passing grades. Update 3. So, I'll just quickly address one thing that I kept seeing, and that is my dad's age changing. I'm aware of that, and it wasn't a typo. I'm just stupid and never remember my parents' ages, so it was kind of funny seeing so many people mention that. I'm now living with my mom, since my dad just randomly moved to Hungary for work. Staying with my mom has been strange. I feel like she's pretty nice to me nowadays. But there's a lot of trauma that would just take ages to unpack and I don't want to put anyone here through that. Also, my parents aren't divorced, but separate. I didn't know that it made such a difference and since English isn't my first language I guess I didn't make the distinction but whatever. Katie and my dad are still at it. Actually I even think they're considering moving in together but I try to not engage in any of that. Everyone in my family is just a wreck right now and it's quite honestly extremely tiring. Personally I had a whole mental health crisis a few months ago, that landed me in a crisis center and barely anyone gave a flip, cause apparently the whole thing with my dad is more of a hot topic. It would take years to just list everything out so I think it would just be easier for me to answer any questions in the comments, if anyone had any. Anyway just gotta say thank you to all the kind and supportive comments, me and my GF had a blast reading all of it I felt so famous.